Monday, we're talking about Lions practice, what took place on the field. We also got Lions news, releasing a player, signing a player. Also, power rankings came out. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's get it started. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Why is that? We're going to be live for the Lions and Chargers game, Hall of Fame game, and we're going to be live for all games this year. It starts on preseason. That's Thursday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. The Detroit Lions have released cornerback Stanley Thomas-Oliver with a reported injury waiver. Thomas-Oliver had a tough start to camp, opening on the NFI list and then suffering a hamstring injury the next day. In a corresponding move, the Detroit Lions decided to sign cornerback Nick Whiteside. Now, he was part of the UFL. He was part of, obviously, the Commanders. He's a 6'1", 200-pound, 25-year-old cornerback. He only played in 2 games in his NFL career. His all-time American college notching 12 interceptions in 43 games. He's a young player for the Lions right now, replacing Stanley Thomas-Oliver. So what do I think about him as a player and what he can bring to the Detroit Lions? Well, he can bring the Lions help on preseason games and in reps. They're in training camp right now. Him making the roster seems like an extremely long shot, but with the Lions, they want to check every rock and turn every stone. And we got 4 preseason games. So you lose a player, bring in a guy at the same position, see what he can do, and it helps out in distributing players for preseason. So you can evaluate the talent, and some players you don't need to watch in preseason, like the starters. So I got a question for you, because there's power rankings as well. Where do you rank the Detroit Lions right now in the NFL? 1, if you think they're the best. 32, if you think they're the worst. Let's go ahead and continue on here and talk about the power rankings for Yahoo Sports. The Detroit Lions came in at number 3 on this list. This is the 3rd best team in football now. I was kind of shocked. I was expecting it to be maybe a top 10 team or somewhere in there. Why is that? Because the big media has been kind of poo-poo the Detroit Lions this offseason, and they don't seem to be talked about as much as other teams, and a lot of people think they could potentially regress, but not according to Yahoo.com. They have a lot of faith in what the Lions are doing. Let's go ahead and talk about the quick notes really quick for training camp. Undrafted safety Ian Connolly returned to practice. That's a good thing. For the Lions, running back Sione Vaki, he returned to practice as well. Safety Kerby Joseph is not participating, and cornerback Amik Robertson is not in camp at this time. Let's go ahead and get it started out with the 2 physical players. We're talking about David Montgomery and Jack Campbell, as these 2 have been facing off all camp, and it's been awesome to see the 2 physical players going at it. And David Montgomery already spoke to the media last week telling folks, don't forget who I am. He wants to put respect on his name, and he put respect on his name today versus Jack Campbell because he juked him so well and made a miss. These 2 are good, and it's iron sharpening iron too, because we're trying to see Jack Campbell take that next step. This is the year that everybody kind of really expects him to take that significant leap, and it definitely kind of feels like that. It definitely feels like that after especially watching training camp here. How about Isaac TeSlaa? He's been doing a pretty good job here. The red zone was pretty interesting. Now, when it comes to red zone, the Lions were working red zone one-on-one drills, and Hendon Hooker throwing a touchdown to Malik Taylor and Isaac TeSlaa, but was also intercepted by newcomer who we just signed today, I talked about earlier, Nick Whitehead. Jared Goff also threw touchdowns to Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. So when it comes to the Lions offense, they're getting some touchdowns in today, and that's good, because if you look at the practice we had last week, the last practice I talked about 2 days ago, it was the defense that kind of won the day, and it felt like the offense was a little bit off there, but not in this case, as this offense did well. And of course, Hendon Hooker, he's still kind of have an up and up type of training camp. Some he's good, sometimes he's bad, and this is kind of how it's been. This is really how it's been. But the Lions offense, specifically the quarterbacks, did pretty good today all in all. How about Derrick Barnes here? Derrick Barnes getting aggressive. A lot of people is concerned in regards to can he come back to the strength that we once seen him before he had that injury, and he's shown a lot. He was getting aggressive after the run during team period. Offensive tackle had to step in to stop the mini squabble, and if you ever been to training camp, you can see, oh my, Dan Skipper, he sticks out like a sore thumb because he's so gigantic. He's like Galactus out there of a man. Next up, we're going to give some love to, how about undrafted free agent Mr. Zach Horton. He had a nice lead block against safety Lauren Strickland. And, yeah, he's considered the fullback. He has a really, 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 really long shot to make the team. More like probably practice squatter. Why? Because the Lions are so good in the back end and running the football. So it does. He would have to be on the practice squad. But he had a nice block. Rank the Detroit Lions in your power rankings. 1 if you think they're the best, 32 if you think they're the worst. Let me know your thoughts. How about Mr. Jack the Goat Fox? He unleashed his full power, showcase why he's still the best punter in the NFL. Blowing up punts. Yeah, we're talking punter. Why? Because he's the GOAT, Jack the Goat Fox. Got to do that. Let's get some more information going out here. How about some updates from the 7-on-7 drills? Jared Goff has thrown 2 touchdowns to St. Brown. Defensively, Alex Anzalone raced to break up a pass intended for Jahmyr Gibbs, and Rockyasin played tight coverage to Horton in complete direction of Tim Patrick. They're going on the 7-on-7 drills there. Kyle Allen was picked off by Maurice Norris with the second team, but rebounded to throw a touchdown to Jackson Meeks. Hendon Hooker entered shortly after and tossed a touchdown to Shane Zylstra with Dan Jackson in coverage. It's good to see this offense starting to get better in camp, more touchdowns than interceptions. That's definitely positive. As the offenses continue, Jared Goff, they executed well. We just keep talking about the red zone because they had another one. Jared Goff just hit Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tim Patrick for a touchdown. With the second team, Kyle Allen dropped the ball on back-to-back. Meanwhile, Hendon Hooker scored scramble on the right side. So the Lions is putting it up today. It's just as the day goes along and training camp continues, they just keep getting touchdowns. Also, when John Morton, he was talking about this offense, because we're going to get back to this offense here in a minute, and he talked about the offensive line, he's in specific players, he says, well, see, I'm going to do that with Dan, whatever he wants, John Morton said. We're going to have everything. We're going to continue to do those things, but whatever worked, and we're going to run things. Whatever worked, we're going to continue that. He's talking about the offense and the trick plays. So he says he's going to continue and do whatever Dan Campbell wants. He's basically taking his orders. Then he talked about isolating guys. Says, I'm isolating guys. I want to give them the chance for taking more shots. Explained, this is the deep pass. Plus, I want to see who can do it and then make the corrections where it's a technique error or something like that. I'm all about that because we have the guys who can do it. So if you've got them, utilize them. So he wanted to utilize these guys. He wanted to do these 2-back sets and the play actions and the deep pass. And we're seeing it in camp as well because they are getting a little bit more down range on the practice field. And while I was recording this, we have some more updates from training camp, so I just want to keep telling you what's going on. The Lions executed another full-team red zone drill. Jared Goff hit Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tim Patrick for a touchdown. With the second team, Kyle Allen dropped the ball on back-to-back plays. Meanwhile, Hendon Hooker scores on a scrambling right side run. Kyle Allen was picked off by Maurice Norris with the second team, but rebounded to a throw and touchdown to Jackson Meeks. Hendon Hooker entered shortly after and tossed a touchdown to Shane Zylstra with Dan Jackson in coverage. So these two are battling out for that number 2 position. I still think right now Hendon Hooker should win it, but it's a battle taking place. I still think it's more Hendon Hooker versus Hendon. All right, let's continue to talk about some highlights, and that was taking place for some other players in training camp on today's practice. Brian Branch, he had a sack on second down during team drills. That's awesome, forcing a 3rd and 16 for the first team offense. On that third down, Terrion Arnold forced an incompletion. The growth of Terrion Arnold just continues to go, and it's just really awesome to see. And oh, man, I'm really excited for the secondary. I really am. I mean, they're so young. Kerby Joseph, Brian Branch, Terrion Arnold. It's going to be absolutely glorious, and you know they're bringing the punch every single time. Also, during a drill, the offense was operating down by 4, and the offense drove for a score with Tom Kennedy catching a touchdown. We don't talk about Mr. Tom Kennedy that much. Why is that? Because he's destined for the practice squad. We all know he's not making the roster as a Lions, I don't know, number 6 wide receiver. So he's just trying at this point to make the practice squad. He's been on here forever doing it. I mean, Tom Kennedy has been on this team, I think, since 1950. It feels like he's the Don Muleback of wide receivers right now, always making the team on the practice squad. He's got a good career from it, so I can't argue with what they're doing. So I look through today's practice, and I have a ton of winners here. I do believe that the offense won. The quarterbacks won here. They're getting some touchdowns today. That's a positive thing. They're winners. Sione Vaki coming back from injury, absolutely winner. Terrion Arnold continues to be a winner in the secondary. He's making that jump, something that we all want to see. I expected it, and he's doing it. Secondary has been a winner through all of training camp. I think they're really good. They have shown huge improvements and huge strides, and I'm really excited to see them in preseason and the regular season. Just seeing Terrion Arnold in the second year and oh man, it looks really good. It looks really good. So there you go. That was today's training camp. That is my thoughts there. Oh, who's the loser? Let's do who's the loser in training camp. You know, I'm not even going to put a loser right there. So far, I just feel like there's really not much losers, to be honest with you. That's the thing. I think injuries is always going to be the loser. This team is stacked, so it's hard to get losers unless you pretty much get injured. There's not a lot of bad play that's taking place. It's a pretty solid camp. So give me your thoughts in the comments below. With that said, folks, adios.